And I remember in the question that you were asking, you sent me, you said, how does such a world look like?
Yeah. What would it look like? How would it function?
Yes. It functions when everything feels, it, he, she, or whatever, has a place and reverence and a value and a role to play. Under that condition, there is no superiority or inferiority of a particular faith, particular religion, particular interpretation, particular class, particular facial complexion, color, creed, or whatever. It becomes a world in which the metaphor that Paul uses, the human body, and some Muslim poets use the same thing, that the human family should act like a human body, that we are all part and parcel of the same thing.
At least as long as we're having a human experience.
Well, all our other experiences are supposed to be complementary and work along the goal and the objective. If we distinguish between one experience, say, okay, we work within this experience and then we don't work within that experience, that leads again to the strife and the separation. We must function. Sometimes people use the kingdom of heaven expression. In other faiths they may have different expressions for it, but this just society that everyone function within that society without distinction of color, creed, or anything else, and people feel that there is basic common denominator between them, which is that human component, and linked together to the degree that you do not see yourself complete without the other. That's the society that ultimately, I mean, if we can reach such a society, then that unity in diversity has been achieved. That we still look different. Our shapes, sizes,
our
and
own
so
individuality.
yes, they are not trampled upon and destroyed, but the work, this complements the convergence. It's not a monolithic kind of round potato or round tomatoes that they all look alike. No, we still have a diverse society, but a society that has goal to converge and become one.
From my reflection and pondering of relationships and all sorts of stuff, I've often heard people argue about individuality versus community. And I keep trying to tell them, at least as I understand it, individuality and community are inherently in symbiotic relationship. Community renews itself by nurturing its individuality, and individuality survives by contributing to its community.
What they refer to is, again, Western categories of what I call I orientation versus we orientation.
Okay.
The I orientation is individualistic society, that every single individual feels that he or she is the center of the earth, and everything has been created for their satisfaction to the exclusion of others.
What I sometimes refer to as the pre-Copernican state of mind.
Exactly. But
I am the center of the universe.
Yes, but this is not the we society. That some we society, again, I mean, we have to this kind of approach, the idea that common interest exists, is rejected. That's one way of it. There is another common interpretation.
Common interests are not necessarily served by common form.
Not necessarily, but I'm just trying to say how even the we society is sometimes misinterpreted. Sometimes we society misinterpreted in a way that is the collective form, an individual has no right and nothing to play, no role to play within it as an individual.
Then I would say society has no way to renew itself.
That's the problem with such an interpretation.
Okay.
So in the I society, the common interest sacrificed for the single individual. In the narrow interpretation of the we society, the individual interest is sacrificed for what we define as the common society. Islam says none of the two. These are two extremes.
Okay.
Both have identities and both have to be served.
Okay.
There is a limit to how much an individual interest will be served, and there is a limit how much communal interest to be served. And it's supposed to be complementary, that one renews the other. There is a linkage between the two.